So what is going on, guys? NanoPrince93 here with another video, and today we have an exciting one because if you guys have saw my video on the Initech 9-in-1 USB-C hub, you guys saw that I really like this USB-C hub, and I've seen a couple and I've tried a couple in my day already because I did have the MacBook Pro 15-inch with the 4 USB-C ports, so at some point I needed a USB-C hub, but this one definitely impressed me. I titled it like the last one you'll ever need because, again, it has the USB-C cord kind of like right in there, so it's portable. You got the PD up to 100 watts, so the pass-through power, if you guys can kind of see that. And then you have all the other ones like Ethernet, 2 USB-A, and VGA. So that's usually most of them only have one USB-A, no Ethernet, and no VGA. But today we do have a new one, and so this one was definitely more functional than it was aesthetic, right? Because this just kind of hung off the side and it wasn't that appealing, but it does fit nice in the backpack. But today I have one that's made primarily for the iPad Pro. So this one's by Basis, that's how I think it is, or Basus, called the Bolt Hub. So it's a 6-in-1, and it's made for iPad because of how it's constructed. So obviously you can still use this with any other USB-C device where you can have a USB-C port. But like I said, again, it's made for the iPad Pro. Versus this one, it's a USB-C hub for anything, whether it's a MacBook Pro, iPad Pro, a USB-C phone, like an Android phone, or any other USB-C laptop or tablet that's out there on the market. But let's crack this one open and see what we're getting ourselves into. So real quick, let's go over what's on the box. So like I said, it's a hub bolt 6-in-1 multifunctional Type-C USB-C hub, 6 extended interfaces customized for the iPad Pro, compatible with Type-C, and then all the goodies that are on here. So if it goes down the list, it's made out of aluminum alloy, so it's very Apple aesthetic. USB 3.0, SD and micro SD, supports 3.5mm jack, 4K HD out, HDMI, USB-C PD input, so it supports, so you can use it not only for the iPad Pro, but also for, like I said, any other USB device, and that's pretty much it. So this is all it is, guys. It's this thing right here. I reviewed a very similar one. Got some paperwork, which I'm not even going to go through. And like I said, the actual device itself. So if we go through the real estate here, right? You have headphone jack, USB-C, micro SD, SD, HDMI, USB-A, and then the USB-C cord that's covered with a little plastic piece right there. So I'm going to install this, see what we're getting ourselves into here, and kind of go from there. So also, one thing before I get started, there is this little like divider or spacer, which is just held on by a magnet, right? So I think ideally, it's like when you have this in there, it's made for the plain iPad Pro with no case, and when you take this out, it gives you a little more leeway as to where you can put it on. So I'm actually going to link Average Tech Guy's review on this, and he also made a follow-up video on the cases that kind of support this, right? But keep in mind, this is made for Apple products, so obviously it's going to work best with the Apple keyboard versus anything else, right? So let's install this guy. Like I said, I took the little spacer out already, so putting that down, this kind of just fits snugly on the corner here. Take this little cap off, and then boom, right in there. And as you guys can see, I have the little indicator there, and if I bring this closer, you can see that there's a little light right there to indicate that it's on. So just so you know, if this is plugged in, whether or not the iPad is on or off, so if I lock it right now, it's still on. So it is technically draining battery, right? So keep that in mind when you guys get this thing. So I'm gonna put this down right here. And the first thing I wanna test is if it charges or not. So let's focus there. I'm gonna turn this brightness down. And just so you guys know, you can still reach the control center from here, even though this is kind of covering up the corner. But if I plug this in, we do get power pass-through right there. So that's really nice. And now the key is I want to test out if a USB thumb drive works with this guy. So what I'm going to do is just put it on the top, go into my Files app, and as you guys can see, boom, it's right there. So these are the files that I'm dealing with that were on here. And if we move, let's say, hold this down, move it into here, boom, I'm working right off of it, right? So that's kind of what we're dealing with, guys. So I think this is a great mobile setup because it does look a lot more aesthetically pleasing, guys. So this is what you're dealing with. Like I said, it's a 6-in-1. You have the headphone jack, SD card. You got the speaker pass-through also, so that's a nice little touch. And it's made of the same, so if you have a space gray iPad Pro, which I don't, I have the silver one, it'll match perfectly. HDMI out, and it's pretty much everything you need, guys. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna unplug everything, right? Unplug that, and now I'm gonna close it up and see what it looks like closed. And it does work closed, so you can kind of leave it plugged in, or what I've seen people do is you unplug this and just kind of put it in its own USB-C port, and you're on the go. So that's the package right there. You can't really see it from the front. This is what it looks like from the side. Obviously, it's going to be thicker on the back for that little corner, but it stays there. If I kind of open this up, let's do a little shake test, see if it falls off. Nothing. So it stays nice and snug. And the last thing I'm going to try is see what it looks like with no iPad Pro case. So let's remove this guy. So again, we have just the iPad here. I'm going to set this down for a second, put this back in here, and kind of slip this on. Boom. And it does fit snugly. Make sure we really press it in there. And boom, guys, that's what we're dealing with. So it does work with just the iPad. Try to shake it off. It's a no-go. Let's plug it in just to make sure the light comes on. It does come on, and you're live. So that is what we're dealing with, guys. And you guys can see the little indicator that shows that there's something active going on. You want to unplug it. And again, guys, that is the entire package. I think aesthetically, like I said, this is one of the better looking ones. If you're gonna compare, like this is what you were dealing with before. So this is a great option to have if you need all the extra I/O. So if you need an Ethernet port, if you need a VGA cable, if you need 2 USB-A ports, then go with this one, obviously. Like if that's something that you need and you're constantly using, then go with this one. And like I said, this one pairs nicely with any other USB-C device. It doesn't just have to be an iPad Pro. But if you're strictly on an iPad Pro like myself, and you don't need the extra USB-A, you don't ever use a VGA, and you don't need an Ethernet cable, I think this is the way to go, because this also adds a headphone jack. So if you're creating on the go and you want to have, you know, that precise sound, then go with the one that has a headphone jack, go with the one that fits snugly onto your iPad. But again, I'm going to link Average Tech Guy's video on which cases these are compatible with, because unfortunately, I ended up getting rid of all the cases that I try. Like every single time I come back to this keyboard case because it works well, it's slim, it's aesthetically pleasing, and like I said, I just really enjoy it. So that's gonna do it for this video. Again, this is the Basis Bolt Hub 6-in-1 made for the iPad Pro, and it will work with an 11-inch and the 12.9-inch. So that's gonna do it for this video, guys. Hopefully you liked it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, peace.